Ayo. Welcome back to the Agostino Zinga Show with your host, Agostino Zinga, and this is episode number 955. Big up everybody in the stream chat. Big up everybody watching this after the fact. I appreciate you. We're going every single day as much as we can until the end of the month, because why the hell not? We are banging them out. If you're wondering, Agostino, why are you so hyped? Why are you so excited? Why are you so jubilant? Why are you so over the moon? Why you seem like you're in a much better mood than you usually are? Because usually we tune into the Agostino Zinga Show and you're grumpy and you're angry and you're sad and you're spitting feathers. Do you know why I'm happy? Do you know why I'm glad? Do you know why I'm happy? Do you know why I'm glad? Bitch, you guessed it. United won. My faithful Manchester United won a football match. Yay! We won. And honestly, I'm not to be that guy. But it's pretty crazy. It's pretty impressive just how quickly my mood changes based on my team's victory or lack thereof. I'm in a much better mood. My weekend was improved exponentially because we won. I'll talk about that later. But before I talk about United winning, I quickly wanted to mention AIAIAI. And it got me thinking, right? As you guys know, I'm a big lover of dance music. As you guys know, I love the clubs. As you guys know, I love getting on it. As you guys know, I love to DJ. As you guys know, I just love the whole thing. I love the whole scene. I'm trying my best from my little corner of the internet, trying to stream my DJ sets. I've got a new one actually coming out at the end of this week, hopefully. So keep an eye out for that one. I'm trying to carve a name out for myself and my little corner of the internet. The plan is actually, because I'm very antisocial and I don't like sucking dick, the plan is just to kind of, stream on my own little thing, build up some numbers and some following and clout that way. And then these motherfuckers have no other choice but to book me. Don't be booking me because they like me. Don't be booking me because they like me as a DJ. They be booking me solely on the numbers, and I'll take it. Because once I hit that stage, once I hit that booth, I know I'm a flipping show out. So I'm trying to get myself back up there, right? So in effort to get myself back up there, I was like, you know what? I need some daily headphones because I got a pair of Phonon, right? I got these really special edition Phonon headphones. Really amazing, right? Really fucking amazing. Special edition Phonon headphones done in collaboration with Dixon's brand, which I don't usually wear when I'm outside because they're really expensive and I don't want to fuck them up. And they were a gift. But I was thinking to myself, I need a pair of daily headphones. And so far, when it comes to DJ headphones, I've been very unlucky when it comes to the standard Sennheiser HD25. I purchased two. Yeah, two. No, fucking hell. I purchased 4. 2 of them brand new. The one I purchased was the, I think, 50th anniversary. They had the yellow ear cups. That was to kind of mimic the Sennheiser headphones when they came out however many years ago. For the first time, they had like yellow foam, ear paddings. So I bought those ones. Then I had the OG ones with no colored, foam pads as well. And I've been really unlucky because most people that have the Sennheiser HD25s, they say they're bulletproof. They're indestructible. You can chuck them in your bag, chuck them from a high floor. They're perfectly fine. The ones I got with the yellow cup, as soon as I got them, one ear cup was already fucked up. I tried to replace them. I couldn't replace them properly. The thing broke. I never used them again. The ones before that also had an issue with the ear cup. Just loads of little defects and issues. Now, the HD25s are also really easily they're easily repairable, right? Most of it's kind of just, you can kind of deconstruct it. But I think with the cabling, I'm not going to lie, I think the cabling is kind of hard. It's kind of finicky, to kind of get a hold of. So you can sometimes easily snap some of the little pins and stuff when it comes to putting them in your headphone. If you've used them, you know what I'm talking about. So I needed a new pair, like a daily driver. So I decided to get a pair of AIAIAIs, right? You see these? These are the AIAIAIs. I think these are the cheapest ones. These are the entry-level ones. The AIAIAI, what is it? XDJ, I think XD or something. What is it? I've got the AIAIAIs. Yeah, the AIAIAI TMA-2 DJ XE. By the way, get a better name. AIAIAI, whoever's out there, The name brand is kind of recognizable, but the model names, like, what is it? TMA-2 DJ XE. Too many words, too many letters. Please get a better code name. But in general, these are the entry level headphones that they sell. I think they're about 120 or something like that. Are they 120? Yeah, 120. So not too bad. And so far, I'm liking them. I'm not gonna lie. I think I really like them because they've got this one headband here, right? So it's not two how the Sennheiser HD25s are. They usually have that two thing that you can kind of split to make them fit and be more adjustable. These aren't. These just have got to have this foam band at the top. That's just one together. I also love how they slide up and down here, similar to the Sennheiser HD25s. And the really cool thing about them as well, which I really like, really underrated feature, is that on the end of the ear cups, there's holes. So you can plug your headphone into either one. So if you want to use the headphone and you want the cable to come from the right cup, you can plug it in there. And if you want it to come from left, you can unplug it and you can pop it in there. I'll actually show you how to do it. I think you got to twist it. It's a twist function. You twist it and then you pull. And then you go back on the other ear cup and you go boom. You twist. Oh, does it twist? Twisty. Yeah, there you go. Twisty, and then you pull. Boom. And it fits in there as well. So I really like that. It's a very underrated feature, but if you're kind of like OCD and a bit particular like I am about where holes go and ports go, like one of the slyly annoying things that kind of pisses me off about MacBooks is that on most MacBook that I've used anyway. So I'm sweating because I'm sweating in here because I was fucking boiling some potatoes. Apologies, right? I was boiling some potatoes. Yeah, fucking, you know what I mean? Adonis body starts now because I'm heading off to fucking Berlin end of the month. So, you know what I mean? I've got to look trim. But one thing I hate about fucking MacBooks is that for some reason, the headphone port is always on the right-hand side. But all the other ports on the left-hand side. I kind of hate that. You know, there's no synergy. You kind of have cables coming out here. You have cables coming out there. I want all the cables to be on one side, or you know what I mean? Or to be like evenly split out, but they're not. All the ports are on left-hand side. It's just annoying. So I do like the fact that they switch that you can switch the headphone port thing cables. But one thing I noticed about them, right, was that I know they're the entry-level headphones, and I shouldn't expect too much. But they're not that great, you know? For 120, they don't feel like they're worth 120. And even the higher ones, right? Because they've got a level above this one, right? The level above this one, which I've got, it's called a TMA DJ. No XE on the bottom. And that one, which is this one here, that's the level above, which is the one I have. Looks a little bit nicer, doesn't it? A little bit nicer and premium. That one is 170. And then they've got a really high premium one. That's a level above that one, which is the wireless one. Which is that one, right? That looks pretty sick. There's a wireless one where you can have no cables at all. But I'm on a cable thing. Anyway, when it comes to DJing, I'm already fucking poisoning myself, right? I'm already poisoning myself with the amount of Bluetooth and the amount of technology I use. I spend a lot of time on the internet. I spend a lot of time on the internet. I spend a lot of time on social media. I spend a lot of time reading news. I spend a lot of time making content. I spend a lot of time just sitting here, right? It's fucking too much. And I'm already getting all these fucking Bluetooth waves in my fucking head. Get me? So I'm like, you know what? It's probably best that I kind of have some sort of like cabled thing in my life. That's why I've got like a regular mic, you know, with cable, XLR ports and stuff. I've got regular headphones with cable on this pod. I mean, I want to keep myself somehow wired so I'm not always receiving fucking Bluetooth, you know what I mean, waves in my head. I mean, like I'm fucking cooming somewhere. So I wouldn't really get the wireless ones. But one thing I've realized to myself, you know what, right? I want to get in, right, in the DJ scene, but I don't want to suck anybody's dick. And at this moment in time, I'm not quite ready to open a club. It will happen soon, but not yet. But I thought, you know, another way to kind of get in and kind of make a contribution and leave something for other generations to come and build upon. That's what I want to do. Because I remember when I got into this thing, I was inspired by seeing all these people creating all these clubs, all these club nights, all these moments, production, whatever, being on the dance floor. You know what I was thinking I might do? Fuck it, let's get into hardware. Because this isn't that great as quality goes. They look like £50 headphones to me, but they're selling these for 120. And then Sennheiser headphones are like 169. Who's that guy? What's his name? Fucking Ramper. Ramper's brand, right? Is it? I forgot the name of it. But he's got a pair of headphones. They're like 200. Phonon, 300. People are making a buttload of money, and the headphones aren't really that great. I'm not gonna lie. The DJ headphone scene is a little bit You know what I mean? They're not really that great for what they are. Don't get me wrong. I feel like they're better feel, like durability, I think, than the Sennheiser HD25s. And I feel like these won't end up breaking on me, you know, or I won't end up breaking them. But these don't look like £120 headphones, you know? Or maybe it's just the way the life is. Maybe life in general, nothing really is worth the price. Like, think about it. When's the last time you went to McDonald's? Think about that. When's the last time you went to even fucking McDonald's and you felt like you had a decent meal for like however much you paid? I know it's McDonald's is a bad example, but think about it. Back in the day, you could go to McDonald's and get like a fucking double cheeseburger and shit and some fries, and you felt like that was decent. Nowadays, you go to McDonald's, you feel like you're being robbed. You feel like, what's the point? I might as well go to like, you know what I mean, a proper restaurant. So I'm not too sure if I'm just out of the loop or if this is how much headphones should be, because these to me don't look like £120 headphones. But I'm gonna give them a go and see how they feel. So next DJ set, you see me wearing these, and I'll see how they feel, because one thing, like I said, I'm really happy about is the ability to make sure that the headphone cable comes out either ear cup. That's a game changer for me, because I'm a bit weird. Like I like because ideally when I'm DJing, I want it to be like that. You get me? So I want the headphone jack to be on the right hand side, so it fit. No, sorry, left hand side. My bad. So that it fits into the hole. So you know what I mean? That way, as opposed to the other way where it's kind of going across your body. You know what I mean? It's annoying. So I do like them for what they are, but yeah, 120. It's a bit much. It's a bit much. I'm not gonna lie. It's a bit fucking much. Now, if I was getting sent them for free, that's a different story. But I wasn't. I paid hard-earned money for these, and they're all right. They're all right. They're all right. So let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. Talking about how it goes. United. Man United beat Sunderland at home. The mighty Sunderland. We beat the mighty Sunderland. And I can't show you on the screen right now because I didn't flip and set my OBS up properly. But we're going to get up there in a minute. We beat the mighty Sunderland at home. And I am absolutely ecstatic. I'm absolutely over the flipping moon. Why am I over the flipping moon? Because it's an exciting time, brothers and sisters. It's an exciting flipping time to be a United fan. Things were going wrong for a long time, and now all of a sudden, things are right. Everything is okay in the world now. No reason to be annoyed. No reason to be upset. No reason to be worried. Everything is fine now. Everything is fine now. A minute ago, all of us are worrying about, oh my God, Amarin's not that good of a manager. He's not going to help us. We need somebody else. Da, da, da. Nah, man. Everything is fine. Don't worry. Everything is fine. Amarin has it all under control. Amarin has it all under control. So United beat Sunderland 2-0 at home. 2-0 at home. The major thing to talk about is the team performance. I thought we're a lot more unified. I felt like the lines across the pitch were a lot more closer. What do I mean when I talk about lines? Well, I felt like in previous times, in previous efforts in the team, whenever you see our lines, like you see the 3, 4, 2, 1, they'd be always separated. There'd be too many gaps in between. So teams could play in and around us. If they flooded the midfield, they could kind of, overcrowd our midfielders. But I felt like with this type of formation, especially with 3 at the back, you didn't want to be compact. And I felt like we're really compact across the lines. We're compact vertically, horizontally. We're compact diagonally. We're compact across the pitch, which kind of limited the spaces that Sunderland had to run onto. And then when it came to attack, I thought we played really well too. I thought it was Sesko's best game for us thus far. I thought Sesko had a really strong centre half performance, bringing the other players in around him into play, holding up the ball really well. But the standout performer has to go to Lemons. Big up blood clot Lemons, man. Lemons is our young goalkeeper ball from Royal Antwerp. He kind of came in essentially to be our number 1. Big boots to fill. Big club, big reputation. Notoriously a very hard place for goalkeepers to kind of succeed because of the pressure and the spotlight. But damn, man, he did good. He did good, man. That kid did good. What I liked most about Lemons was the fact that when he received the ball, he looked like he could receive on either foot comfortably. If you give it to his left, he's comfortable. You pass it to his right, he's comfortable. I like the fact that he pulled off a couple good saves. The save from Xhaka probably wasn't going to go in, but still comfortable, parried it out wide. The save right at the end to keep the clean sheet. Saved it with his legs, remind me of David De Gea. But the most impressive thing for me was seeing him catch. I'm liking that nowadays we're getting a throwback. Remember back in the day, everyone used to like goalkeepers that were like defensive midfielders. I feel like now we're getting a throwback. You know how everyone now is doing long throws? Everyone now is playing long ball. I feel like now we're returning back to teams wanting goalkeepers. People who can stop shots on goal. People who can save shots on goal first. And what I like about Matt Lemons is that his fundamentals in terms of shot stopping are there. And the other thing that I really love, when crosses or balls come into the box, guess what he does? He catches them. He catches them, people. He doesn't punch. Most goalkeepers nowadays love to punch the ball out. I'm sure it's just a technique in order for you to kind of progress the attack and continue on. Because if you catch the ball, you're kind of stopping the game and resetting. But if you punch, you can kind of maybe, you know, have a chance for your players to kind of go on ahead. But if you're the team watching us, it's annoying. Because just like catch the ball, man. Like fucking stifle the attack. Let's start again. Seeing him catch the ball and hearing the crowd, the Old Trafford crowd erupt in applause was fucking brilliant. And he had a little bit of a smile on his face too. The crowd applauding and going crazy over him catching the ball told you everything you need to hear about the level of shitness we had in goal before. Onana's gone, I know, but number 2. I'm not going to speak too much about Onana because it is what it is. But oh my God, big up Lemons. Really happy with the performance. International break probably came at the wrong time for us. We could probably be building on top of this. But again, strong performance. Not again, but for once, a strong performance from the team. Goals were really well taken as well. Mason Mount's goal, and in general, his game was, you know, his performance all game was really strong as well. Probably his best one for me in terms of what he can offer going forward, in terms of his ability to press. And also the goal from Sesko too was a good striker's instinct goal, as if always being on his toes, always being on the run across his defender, bang, flicked it into the goal. More than happy for him. So big up Mount, big up Sesko, big up Lemons. Happy with that performance. And honorary shout out to Bruno Fernandes. You know, I don't usually like Bruno Fernandes, but I have to give Bruno Fernandes some credit. Bruno Fernandes did a good job. He didn't really go running. He didn't go walkie-walkies. He stayed next to his midfield partner in Casemiro and did the fucking damn job. So big up Bruno Fernandes too for not going walkies. I appreciate him. I appreciate him. I appreciate him. Continuing on. Let's talk a bit about this. This is a fucking hilarious clip. Big up Sly Sterling. Big up Sly Sterling, big up Winners Talking Podcast, and big up the Music Connoisseur. This is a really awesome clip. It says, Sly Sterling speaks on getting his heart broken by a girl he was playing and not getting over it for about 2 years. Listen to this clip. This is fucking brilliant because it kind of shows how much of the double standards all us men have, and how we're all full of shit. And really you have to go, maybe sometimes you have to go through these situations to get to the other side, but I don't feel like you have to. I feel like you should watch this as a lesson. Listen to it, and take this as a lesson in your own life and apply it going forward, because I think there's going to be a new trend going forward. There's going to be a new trend going forward with men that's going to probably benefit women greatly, but it's going to be a new trend between the man them, I think, going forward. And I'm going to play the clip and you're going to hear it in 1 second.
So, first time I gone to the bin, yeah? I'm playing the 2 gallon for time.
By the way, for my US listeners, for my US listeners and watchers, when he says first time when I'm going to the bin means prison. Prison bin. That's slang. It means you went to prison for a couple of years.
I remember the month before I'm coming home, I only got like a 7-month sentence, yeah? I've done 6 months doing this, you know? So visit one during the week, visit with the next one on the weekend type of thing. Rotation. Everything's sweet. Blood. I remember the first time I called and I was like, bro, what got an early morning thing? Energy's just off, bro. So, bro, what gone?
Yeah.
Say nothing. Shouted my brethren, goes, blood, are you fucked? Are you, they found out. In my head, I'm like, blood, you see that whole day in the can, I couldn't even eat, bro.
Yeah, bro.
I couldn't even eat, and I was like, oh, like, calm anyway. Coming home. Both of them, one's at the gate, the other one's moving, actually don't want to rock with me. I'm saying, cool. Then I finally got the drop one time that the one that's lodging me is going to be about somewhere. But I'm like 19, man. I come there, Mon cleared out. No chatting. No chatting. Yeah. I'm saying to the man, them, you hold like 2 bags on me. You, man, don't bother me. Yeah. I spent the whole night by some fireplace chatting to her. Buzzing her down. Got her back, you know? Yeah. You know, I got her back. Yeah. I actually know I got her back. But why I'm such a scumbag, and this is why I say, man, need to understand about sexual discipline. So I'm with the man that was in a good vibe. I'm happy now I got my joint back. I'm saying, yo, man, we're going to strip club. Well, I got 2 bags on me. I man, everything on me. Drinks, bitches, whatever. Yeah. But the night's gone on. You know, strip clubs, I've never been to a strip club since, you know. I've not been in a strip club I was 19, brother. Yeah. I've not been in a strip club since,
12
bro.
years.
Blood. I'm thinking of my joint. You get me? Mm-hmm. I'm on a motorway. I'm on a roundabout. I can either go left to go home to chat to.
But this sounds like, go on, tell this story.
No. She said I can either go left because you know the whole time in the strip club I'm chatting to her as well. Yeah. Oh, call me when you get home. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, say nothing, baby. All that stuff.
Yeah,
brother. I can go left to go on the phone and chat to her, or I can go right to go to the ops yard. Because remember, bearing in mind, they've had beef from college. I'm on the same man. Yeah. Anyone can get it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Right, I've gone right. I've gone right. No sexual discipline. Done what I done. Next day I tried to do a mind games thing. You know, Instagram them times is a bit low key. I'm trying to get some real brownie points, you know. I tried to do that one angled picture that my brethren took of us. But it's just me, but you can see me more clear that and you can see her from my angle. But you can't see her face. I'm like, yeah, bad thing.
Yeah.
Blood. The mutual friend between the two of them has called me. She don't ever call my phone. And I knew the jig was up, bro. I mean, my mum's yard, the phone's ringing, like. I'm thinking, nah, bro. Picked up, yo, you're a piece of shit. I just locked off the phone, turned my phone off. I mean, my bitch linked me. I call my bitch off my line. I'm like, yo, link me. I'm saying, brother, yeah, fam, man's hot. It's hot. Anyway, long story short, Brad, you see, for me doing that, that pushed her to go link and next you. Imagine one time, Valentine's Day, I'm with a man. So this is like, from then to Valentine's Day, I swear it's like no less than 2 months. She'll chat to me on the phone. She won't link, man. She won't link me, you know. Valentine's Day, man's driving with a man. None of us are going Valentine's. We're all Gallus in this car. You know what I'm saying? Man's driving. Right, we just went Nando's like scumbags. We're driving, I see her car. I say, yo, pull over. I will hop out like she's a pagan. Bust her door, walk on. I said, walk on. So and we're going boom. Me and her and her friend are going cinema. But true, them times there, my right hand man was onto the brethren as well. I'm saying, yo, forward me to my yard quickly. Man's gonna get showered. Man's gonna pay for everything. Yo, we're gonna pop up in the cinema. Blah. By the time I've showered and come out, Snapchat just started these times. So man's like to me, hey, bro, forget about it. I saw the phone, yeah. I saw the phone, candlelit dinner and a piano. Hey, brother. Hey, bro. Do you know what I felt like? I'm not gonna lie to you.
Pain, though. Pain.
Bow, my stomach, brother.
Pain.
I was like, raw.
Pain.
Raw. Look at his face, even. That's a raw face, even playing it back. So essentially, if you do not understand what happened, this guy was in prison for a few months. For some reason, he thought it was a good idea to play two girls off each other while he also, I guess he was playing two girls at the same time. One of them was his girlfriend, one of them was a side piece. When he comes out of prison, the girlfriend obviously finds out about the side piece. She's a bit cold. He ends up getting her back on, spins the block, gets her back. She's down again. And then, but he's still playing, he's still kind of, fucking other girls. Then they go to a strip club one day. After the strip club, he could have went home, but he doesn't. He doesn't go home. He doesn't turn left. He says he turns right. He goes to another girl's house. His girl finds out. And then obviously it leads to them kind of breaking up. But he then calls her again. She kind of leaves the door slightly open again. But then by the time Valentine's Day comes around, she's already got somebody else new. And he sees that confirmed on a Snapchat. And it kind of breaks his heart. And obviously it goes to speak to a little bit about double standards. It exists in all places, right? Double standards exist in the women's spaces. Whenever like a rich guy, or whenever a rich guy is going through a divorce, and the woman who's usually, imagine if there's no kids involved, right? There's no kids involved. Whenever a rich guy goes for a divorce, you hear women on social media be like, yeah, she deserves half, right? And there'll be some men on the internet saying she doesn't deserve anything. She wasn't shooting with him in the gym. It's completely unfair. But on the flip side of things, I also think it's very normal for men to support other men who are like, oh yeah, I've got a wife, but I'm also around town doing my thing, playing people off each other, cheating a bunch of times. And people don't really bat an eyelid. So I think double standards and hypocrisy exist in both genders. But I think overall, when it comes to men, and I'm thinking for myself as being a bona fide, male, right? What do the gays call us? Being a stragger, right? Being a stragger as I am, or some of us are, I think it's also very important to kind of elevate and to progress and evolve. And I'm also somebody that kind of adheres to the doctrine of extreme ownership. Big up Jocko Willnick. I think it's really important going forward nowadays that all men across the board just accept and move on and evolve to the point where they're like, you know what? Cheating isn't cool. I think that's where we should go to this point. We should go to a point where cheating isn't cool anymore. It's better to have somebody that you love and hold that person down than to have somebody that you love, hold that person down, and also go out and doing your thing. That's crazy. I think cheating isn't cool because for whatever reason, I don't know why it is. I don't think I'm like that, but again, I haven't really been cheated on that I know of anyway. But it really is interesting how much different cheating seems to affect men than women. When men get cheated on, even if they've done loads of dirt themselves, even if they've cheated on their girlfriend a bunch of times, if they get cheated on once, it can turn them into a fucking demon. It can turn them into a villain. It makes them super angry. They get really upset. They get depressed. Like, it's really interesting because like it's never a tit for tat for whatever reason. I don't know what it is about it. I don't know what it is about us, but there is something about us that we can't really handle it. But I think in general, the worst thing about cheating, possibly, I think, has to be the embarrassment that it brings to the girls, because girls hold up the sanctity of relationships more than men, I think, right? Girls are really proud when they have boyfriends. They're really happy when they're engaged. They're really happy when they get married. Girls want to get cuffed. Girls want to get help. You know what I mean? Girls want to get fucking, you know what I mean? I'm claimed by somebody. Men maybe can be a little bit all over the place. But I think it's important as we evolve, as species, as humans, to be like, you know what? Maybe the next level we need to get to is to get to a point where everybody, if you're single, you do your thing. Like, that's what I want to get to. It's not going to be hard. But I think if you're single and you're ready to mingle, do whatever the fuck you want. Be safe or don't be safe. Who gives a fuck? Live your life. You'll learn by your mistakes. But I think if you've got a person at home, I think you owe it to yourself, you owe it to them, and you owe to like they're not trying to embarrass them. They just keep your thing in your pants and you avoid all distractions and you avoid all temptations. You don't need it. Now, you're not going to get any help from anybody. For some reason, when girls find out you're in a relationship, you become 10 times more attractive. And sometimes if you're out with your guys and they're on scumbag time, they're going to encourage you to do bad. They're going to encourage you to make the bad choices and to get some bad behavior shit. So you only have yourself to count on. You only have yourself to rely on. And you should look yourself in the mirror and be like, you know what? I do not want to let down my person. I do not want to betray their trust. I do not want to break the sanctity of this bond, this relationship that we have, and go from there. Because I'm getting to the point where I'm like, you know what? Even if it happened around me, I wouldn't be happy about it either. Like, if I know your girl and you are cheating on your girl in front of me and I'm your boy, it won't make me happy, because now I got to hold on to your lie. Now I have to be complicit in your duplicity. You know, that's not fair either, right? It's not fair across the board. So I think we really, really, really should go to that position, go to that place, because I'd imagine, again, I've never been cheated on. Of what I'm aware of. Who knows? Maybe I have been, but from what I'm aware of, I've never been cheated on. But I can only imagine, as a guy, how much more it would hurt, despite me being somebody that might have cheated on other people in the past, you know? It's a bit double standardy and a bit weird, but I think we should get to that place as men. I think we should get to that place as men. But again, what do I know? Absolutely nada. Talking about what do I know? Diddy got sentenced over the week, innit? Diddy got sentenced over the weekend. I'm sure some of you guys are aware that Diddy, aka Sean Combs, got sentenced over the weekend to more than 4 years in prison. I think they said, when it comes to prison maths and shit, I think they were saying that there's a possibility with good behavior and everything else that he comes out this time next year. That's what I read online. Don't read into what I'm reading into. I'm just a nobody. But from what I've heard from people who know about prison maths, they said there's a possibility that Diddy gets out this time, which is October next year, 2026, which, you know, is a decent enough situation considering his charges, considering all the stuff that came out about him, considering the level of the crime that he did. I think all in all is pretty decent. Now, he's not happy, obviously, because he thought he was coming home, because this whole sentencing was a mad thing. Number one, they put out some weird video that they played in court, like an 11-minute video, kind of compilation home movie, showing how great of a father he is, entrepreneur, businessman, cultural figure, icon, all this stuff, right? So it was a montage drinking, really, really interesting. And then the other thing that came out during the court case was that he had his kids come up and basically give him testimony, I don't know, a report or whatever, speak highly of him, right? A character reference, whatever it was, right? Which is really strange, putting your kids up for that, considering the severity of the crimes he's been accused of. Putting your kids up to do that sort of thing is just bizarre, but he did it anyway. But the other thing that was really odd, which I was like, oh my God, what a bad move. It came out during his court case, during his sentencing, that he had a speaking engagement scheduled for next week in Florida, in Miami. He had a fucking, like a speaking arrangement, some sort of live podcast, whatever. When I heard of it, I immediately thought it was going to be valuetainment. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. But when I heard he had a speaking engagement in Florida, I immediately thought, I bet that's valuetainment. I bet that's fucking PBD. I bet that's fucking Paul Bet Davidson. I bet that's fucking who it is, right? Or Paul Bet fucking David. I bet that's fucking him. But when the judge heard that, he was not happy. When the judge heard that, he was not happy. It kind of showed that he has no remorse. You know what I mean? He's think he's gonna get out on that same day. Fucking crazy move to make. But I wonder if that also showed that even someone like a Diddy, who was a reported billionaire before he went to prison, even he was struggling for money. After all the attorney fees he'd been paying to try and fight this case, which his attorneys did pretty well, to be fair. I think two of his lawyers got up on a stand and basically cried in front of court, which is fucking crazy. So it goes to show you just how much money can do, right? You got two, you know, especially like a Brian Still, the guy that got fucking Young Thug off of his case, going up in front of court and crying in your defense. So they did a good job, but they couldn't get him out. They couldn't get him out. And he decided to book that thing. I was like, wow, man. That just goes to show you what type of person he is. But also it goes to show you just how much money it must cost to defend yourself at this sort of level. That he had a speaking engagement organized for the following week to get straight back working again. It kind of shows you where things are. Anyway, let's read the article courtesy of Sky News. It gives us more details. It says Sean Diddy Combs has been sentenced to more than 4 years in prison over prostitution charges relating to his former girlfriends and male sex workers. Judge Arun Subramanian handed down the 50-month sentence, including a $500 fine at the end of the long and emotional full day of hearing, which saw the hip-hop mogul speak out for the first time in court. By the way, I wonder why in prisons or in courtrooms, why they don't just give the sentence in years or months, years. Why do they give the sentence in months? Because they say 50 months. Why don't you say 4 years? I wonder why they do that. Is that a way to kind of dumb down or to kind of not make the sentence as harsh? Is that the way the system works? I wonder why they do that. Anyway, it continues. It says, Combs, 55, admitted his past behavior was disgusting, shameful, and sick, and apologized personally to Cassie Ventura and Jane, another former girlfriend, who testified anonymously during the trial. But despite his plea for mercy and expressions of remorse, the judge told him he had abused his power and control with women he professed to love, and rejected the defense characterization that freak of sexual encounters were consensual experiences that was just a sex, drugs, and rock and roll story. Addressing Cassie and the other brave survivors who've come forward, the judge said, "We heard you. I can only say I can only say your families are proud of you and your children will be proud of you. You weren't just talking to the jury, you were talking to the women who feel powerless, who gave them a voice. You stood up for power. It's not easy." Combs showed no visible change of emotion as his sentence was delivered, looking straight ahead as the judge spoke. Afterwards, he seemed subdued, with no sign of enthusiasm or feelings showed earlier in the day. There's a picture of some of his kids coming out in the courtroom. Ahead of their own speech, the court heard from 6 of his 7 children, causing the rapper to break down in tears as they spoke about how much they loved him and how he has changed and how much they and their younger 2.5 sisters need him. The sentencing brings to an end a sordid case that featured harrowing testimony, not just from Cassie and Jane, but also from former employees and associates of Combs. He was convicted in July of flying people around the US and abroad for sexual encounters, including his then girlfriends and male sex workers, in violation of prostitution laws. However, he was cleared of the most serious charge of racketeering conspiracy and sex trafficking that could have put him in jail for life. Here's some illustrations of him in court, cowering with his head in his hands as his kids gave testimony. On the eve of his sentencing, Combs submitted a letter to the judge, pleading for mercy and apologizing for the hurt and the pain he has caused. He expanded on his court, saying that he wanted to personally apologize to Cassie for the harm that he caused her emotionally and physically, and to Jane and other victims. He told the court that he got lost in my excess and lost in my ego, but since his time in prison, he has been humbled and broken to my core. Combs continued, "I hate myself right now. I'm truly sorry for it all." There's his Combs' mum out in front of the court as well. Once one of the influential music figures, he's faced 20 years in prison. Prosecutors had argued that he spent the last 11 years, or at least 11 years behind bars. No, prosecutors argued he should spend at least 11 years behind bars, while Combs' lawyers were calling for him to be freed almost immediately due to time already served. Kirsty Salvik for prosecution, told the judge sparing the rapper serious jail time would excuse years of violence. The judge, who had rejected bail for the rapper several times before sentencing, told him that he would get through his time in prison. It would be hard, he said, but he still had a life afterwards. Combs has a chance to renewal and redemption. What went wrong can be made right. I'm counting on you to make the most of that second chance. Outside the court, journalists and onlookers swarmed the pavements as the TV crews stood in a long row across the street, echoing scenes of the 2-month-long trial. It concluded 4 days of testimony from Cassie, now Cassie Ventura Fine, who told the court that she was coerced and sometimes blackmailed into sexual encounters with male escorters, referred to as freak-offs. Cassie responds. Jurors also shown video clips of Combs dragging and beating her in Los Angeles hotel. Combs referred to this in court, saying it was a heavy burden that he will forever carry and that he was sick with drugs and out of control. Ahead of the sentencing, Cassie also submitted a letter to the judge calling Combs a manipulator and saying she would fear for her safety should he be immediately released. Responding to the sentence, her lawyer Douglas Wigdor said, while nothing can be undone the trauma caused by Combs, the sentence imposed today recognizes the impact of the serious offenses he committed. We are confident that with the support of her family and friends, Miss Ventura will continue healing towards knowing that her bravery and fortitude have been inspirational to so many. So all in all, I think he got off. I think he got off with a light sentence in general. Obviously, he wasn't getting charged, or he wasn't in court for that beating video. And all the other stories from all the other people associated with him, saying some fucked up things of what he done, didn't really play in court either. So maybe the defense or prosecution, whatever, put too much on there in terms of charges. But I think in terms of sending out a signal, in terms of teaching him a lesson, I think this is a big deal. This guy was living a very lavish, a very rich, a very affluent, a very privileged, a very highfalutin lifestyle before this. You'd imagine he thought he'd probably get away with it forever, and then to suddenly be in prison in your 50s when Diddy has never been in prison ever. I don't think Diddy's even got a criminal record. I'm pretty sure. I don't think he's even have a criminal record. I don't think so anyway. But I know he hasn't spent a long time in prison. To go from being that rich of a guy, living in fucking mansions, being shuffled around in places, pouring Ciroc everywhere, to now suddenly being in prison, it's gonna humble him by force. Maybe beforehand, if he would have got released now, it wouldn't have. But I think actually spending time in prison will humble him. Spending time in jail sounds kind of miserable, because I think he wrote in the letter, but in his jail cell is like 6 other people. He's in one of those big jail cells where you share like a room with 6 other people. I think in prison is usually 1 or with 2 people, or you and another person, or maybe you by yourself. But I think him actually going to an actual prison, having to wear the prison garb, all that malarkey, I think will definitely humble him. And hopefully, you'd hope for the better, it would kind of change his behavior and send a signal out to other people, especially in the music industry, who are doing the same shit, that you can't get away with it, and that this is probably your future, because who wants to be 50 and go into prison? You know what I mean? But for the victims, probably doesn't do much, I'd imagine. Doesn't do much for the victims. I think the fact that they were able to say and share their story and get it out there is the best thing possible. Because I always say, I think, when it comes to cancel culture and shit, the only way I think it really works with these people in high positions is that it exposes what they did in the dark in public. Because most of these people don't want people to know what they do in the dark, what they do in secret, what they do behind closed doors. So the fact that some of these victims are brave enough to come out and speak and say, hey, this and this happened to me, and that was the person who's responsible for it, I think is a big deal, because it casts a shadow, it casts doubt, and it's never going to be the same. Like, Diddy's going to come out in prison. I'm sure he's going to go on the podcast circuit. He's going to be making music again. He's going to be touring, but it's not going to be the same. It won't be the same. He'll feel the change in energy. I'm sure he even felt it when the videos came out and stuff. I'm sure he felt the change in the energy of people. Like, it's just not going to be the same anymore. You're not going to have the same swagger. It's not going to be the same. It's fundamentally changed him. It's fundamentally broken him for the worse. And I think if you're a victim, you should seek some comfort in that, some solace in that. The prison sentence ain't gonna ever repair the pain and the hurt these people had to go through. But I think him being publicly chastised, being publicly called out like this is a very good thing. Honestly, I think it's a very good thing. And I think overall, hopefully you hope it would inspire good behavior. I doubt it, to be honest, because it sounds like the music industry is just full of Diddies in various different levels. And I feel like for some of them, they kind of get away with it because some of them, similar to Harvey Weinstein, are like people of their word, right? Which is weird. People used to say that about Harvey, that allegedly although he was a rapist and abuser and horrible person, that behind the scenes he was actually a man of his word. So if he was telling an actress or whatever, hey, suck my dick and I'll put you in a big movie, if you sucked his dick, he'll put you in a movie, you know? Like, he kind of followed through on it. So you'd imagine if you're somebody on that level who's kind of doing that, imagine all the people down below. You know what I mean? So it's a very weird place, transactional, full of darkness, full of evil. And you'd hope with something like this being brought to light, that it was going to, you know, make all the other dark people scurry away under their bunker and sort of like stop doing this bad behavior shit. Because you think back to how old Cassie, that's the thing that really is disturbing. Like, you think back to how old Cassie was in going to industry. You think back to how Cassie, because now they're the only thing on run. Nowadays, the only thing on run. Nowadays, imagine if like, I don't know, imagine if like Pink Pantress was like dating some guy, you know, like a Joe Budden or something. I don't think people would run for it. People would be like, you know what I mean? They'd be talking a lot about it. I think back in the day, Cassie coming to the industry, she already looks very young anyway, right? She already got very young looking features and shit. Back in the day, she even looked like a fucking baby, even though she was like, you know, of age and shit. And then you encounter Diddy. Obviously, her first encounter was Ryan Leslie, but then her second major encounter in the industry is Diddy. And he takes you under his wing, and then he becomes your boyfriend. It's like, oof. I can only imagine the amount of blurred lines and abuse that was happening at that time. It's fucking crazy, man. And no one stepped in. Years of abuse, years of physical abuse, emotional abuse, mental abuse. Nobody stepped in. Nobody stepped in and tried to quote unquote save this girl as she was being fucking beaten, manipulated. All this stuff happening in the scene. No one said a thing. The only thing people used to talk about back in the day was Cassie's voice when she used to sing live. Remember, like, oh, she can't sing live. She can't sing live. When she shaved her head, oh my god, what the fuck is that fashion? When she disappear, remember that? She'd disappear. If you're around back then, you'd know. Cassie would disappear for ages. She'd go like ghost for like 6 months and then pop back up again. And then we found out later, after the fact, with all this case going on, that the reason why she disappeared was because she was getting beaten black and blue. She had to recover. She had to recover and heal from her injuries because she was getting bruised up and shit. She was getting beaten up, so she had to recover and come back. So it really is fucking crazy. And so to see her now. So to see her now and to see her like with a husband, with kids and shit, living a fulfilled, happy life, it's a miracle, bro. It doesn't end this way usually. People that know who've been in families with domestic abuse, who've heard of domestic abuse cases, you know it doesn't end too well for the women involved. You know it gets a bit dark. It gets really dark when when obviously a relationship between man and woman, but it gets really fucking dark. It doesn't really end well usually. Usually that person is broken forever, never recover, never had another relationship, is tainted, you know. Their impression of men is completely ruined forever. No one really there's never really a happy thereafter story. And who knows, maybe she's still going through her shit now, but on paper, from the outside looking in, it does look like she has moved on with her life in a good direction. So you can only give her props for doing so. So big up her for putting her face in it. And again, think about it, right? The only reason why this case happened is because of Cassie. All those years of abuse, and the only reason why this case even got brought to court was because of Cassie. You know? She was brave enough to say something in the end and essentially call it out, and then, you know, up come all the other victims, and they obviously spoke and testified too. But if it wasn't for Cassie, no one would have known about this, in the public anyway. I'm sure behind the scenes, behind closed doors, it was one of the worst kept secrets and shit. But fucking hell, man. Big up Cassie, man. Big up blood clot Cassie. But one of the funniest pictures to come out of this is this illustration, allegedly of Diddy in the courtroom as his sentence is being read out, or as the statements are going. No, I think the statements are going through. I think it's the statements from his children. He's allegedly under the table, pounding the chair and crying, sobbing into the chair as his kids give testimony, give, you know, whatever evidence that he's a good dad. I think that's the opposite of being a good dad. I'm not gonna lie. I think Diddy making his kids come to court to that support, because I think that's what happened, right? I think they wanted to paint him out to be the good guy and the family guy. So I'm sure his lawyers and shit agreed to have his whole family come to court. Every single day there's a court. Every time there's a court date, his family were there. All of his kids. Sometimes his kids were even there when the fucking sex workers and prostitutes, the fucking gigolos were there giving their evidence. I think they left halfway through, but they have to listen to all that shit. Making your kids have to listen to all that shit, stand by all that shit is horrendous. It's not really helped anybody. Like, look at Christian Combs. Christian Combs is dating that girl called Raven, who used to date Ian Connor. And look at the damage it's done to them online. It's made them look fucking crazy when really it's nothing to do with them. Like, because people are like, oh yeah, that Raven girl used to date Ian Connor. Connor's got his allegations about him doing some R-word stuff, and now she's dating Christian, whose dad is Diddy, who did, you know what I mean? It's made all the kids look mad crazy. Now, if any of those girls stand up, if any of those girls later in the future decide to get up on their soapbox and start talking about feminism or start talking about girl boss shit, everyone's going to point to their dad and be like, hold on, how can you be talking about feminism when your dad's, you know what I mean? So it's made all his kids look crazy and they have nothing to do with it. So I think that's the opposite of being a good dad. So I think even until the very, very end, he was showcasing very, very narcissistic tendencies, you know? It was all about him. Nobody else was important. He had to make sure he kind of get off on it. There was really no remorse. I don't think so. I think if he would have got out, you would have saw him talking his shit. I think if he would have got out on that day, you would have seen Diddy talking his shit. He would not have been remorseful. He would have been talking his shit, flexing as well. So I think the prison sentence, although it's short, although there's a suggestion that he may come out this time next year, October, if he's well behaved and shit with time served, I think the fact that he has to go to prison is enough of a deterrent, will be enough of a lesson that it would drive the message home. And when he does finally come out, you'll see a different person. But I think if he would have come out on the day of sentencing, he would have let his nuts hang, bro. He would have been out here talking his shit, popping his shit. But the fact that he has to sit down, I think that'll definitely send a message. And for the people out there who are engaging in Diddy-like activities, it will also give them a moment to pause. And be like, you know what? I don't want this. Because this guy's going to prison in his 50s. In his 50s. That is mad. Going to prison in your 50s is fucking crazy. Being known as a sex pest, as a creep in your 50s, allow it. Allow it. But big up them. Big up Cassie. Big up all the victims for speaking. Nice to see. Nice to see. Something that isn't nice to see is this. This is really, really distressing. British teen jailed in Dubai dies 3 months after being freed from prison. I'm sure some of you guys are aware. Was it like a year ago, right? More than a year ago, this British teenager, this guy here called Markus Fakana, RIP to him now, but about a year and a half ago, he was involved in this really big story here in the UK because he went on a holiday with his family to Dubai. He ends up being in Dubai, having a good time, and I guess he meets another family there, and they have a daughter. Him and the daughter end up hitting it off. They end up having sex, unprotected, unfortunately. And then, I think if I'm not mistaken, the mum of the daughter ends up finding a morning after pill in her daughter's purse. She then confronts the daughter tells her what happened, and I guess the mum, in her fit of rage, decides to call the police as they're in Dubai and report the boy for the R word, when it wasn't the R word, it was consensual. But she was so mad that her daughter engaged in that she reported the boy to the police. And obviously, in flipping Dubai, it's illegal for people of their age to have sex in the first place. No, I think it's illegal because she was underage. I think the kid at that time was 18 and the girl was 17, so she was technically underage. So he went to prison for a year. Went to prison for a year in Dubai. His family were trying to do a protest and lead, something for the government to basically try and get him out early because of what went down. And I remember speaking about it on a podcast. I spoke about it on my pod, and I was basically saying that how, the kid was dumb. He made a stupid decision. He should have never done that in the first place. Fucking a girl underage, quote unquote, while he was on holiday with his family. I feel like it's kind of inappropriate as well, a little bit. You're on holiday with your family and you're fucking. It's a bit weird anyway. But anyway, in general, he did it. But I thought, you know what? Lesson learned. It'll be a lesson learned. He'll be a year in prison. He'll learn how to have good, quote unquote, dick discipline. And when he comes out, he'll be a much more mature, grown young man. He comes out. And 3 months later, he dies in a car crash. Ain't that fucking unfortunate? Isn't that absolutely heartbreaking? And now I sit here thinking to myself, I wonder how that lady feels. I wonder how the mum of that daughter feels now. Because there's no shadow of a doubt that her calling the Dubai police because this man, when he was 18, was fucking her 17-year-old daughter, and she wasn't happy about that, so she reported to the police, knowing full well that he would go to prison for it over there, unfairly, because it was consensual. I wonder how that woman feels, because she has blood on her hands. That woman has blood on her fucking hands, what she did to this kid, because she inevitably set him on a path where it would eventually end up in this place. Because this case also got me thinking about like destiny. It got me thinking about destiny. It got me thinking about sometimes in life, your path is mapped out for you, before you even know it. But also I want me thinking about choices and whether or not choices are really mad, because some of us, myself included, I can make fuck up after fuck up and not really be punished that much. I might get a setback. I might lose some money. I might lose a job. I might break someone's heart. I might lose a friend. But life goes on. But there are some people where if they make a couple of mistakes, it's over. It's over. And it's really unfair. Like, it's really, really unfair how some of us get to make mistake after mistake after mistake and nothing goes wrong for the most part. But then this young man made one mistake while he was on holiday with his family when he went and fucked this girl. 'Cause I think it was a mistake. I'm going to say it's a mistake. I don't think, I mean, even if you fell in love, I think going fucking a girl when you're on holiday in a foreign country, it's just, and Dubai, you know how they run. It's a mistake. No matter what you say, it's a fucking mistake. He fucks this girl. One mistake he makes. That one mistake leads to this place he's in. Because no doubt, after that mistake, you know, they always say prisons are 50-50, right? Some people go to prison, they come out, they change person. Some people, you go to prison as a good kid, you come out a bad kid, because why? You're surrounded by bad kids, bad people who've made a career out of being bad. And now you're in a bad situation, especially if you, imagine if you're in there and you feel like it's unjust. You feel like it's undeserved, it's unwarranted, it's unfair. You're going to be pissed off being in there. You're going to be pissed off and angry, and you're going to want to prove them right. Okay, cool. You guys are calling me a bad you. You guys are calling me a bad kid. Fine, I'll be a fucking bad kid. And you come out and start making bad choices, and then you end up like this. And to make the story even worse, when I heard the story originally, I was thinking, right, that so this kid's in a car with his friend, and then the car doesn't stop for a police. That's basically what happened, right? 3 months later, he's in the car with his friend, and the police try and pull them over. The friend doesn't pull over, tries to speed up from the police, ends up crashing. And obviously, as we know, with these car crashes, it's always the person that's not driving that dies. So the kid, the passenger, he dies on the spot, on the scene. I thought at the time, okay, cool. At least let it be like a gun. At least let the kid have a gun in there, or like some money or some drugs. So something crazy where if you would have stopped and let the police come, you both would have got 20 years. So maybe quote unquote, again, this is mad to say, but bear with me. I thought, okay, then at least maybe it's worth rolling the dice, trying to, you know, race off with a car. If you've got like a brick of cocaine in the back, or you've got a fucking couple of guns in there with bodies on them, then maybe you want to try and, you know, speed off, because if you get caught with those things in there, you're gonna be in prison for like double-digit numbers. But then they found out that that's not the case. They found out later on the kid sped away from the police, didn't stop because of not having insurance or a license. Like, come on, man. You could have taken that, bro. You could have eaten that. You could have eaten the points. You could have eaten the fine, the 1-year jail. You could have eaten that. You didn't need to drive. You like try to speed off from police because you don't have a license or insurance. Like, come on, bro. They would have taken your car. Cool. You would have maybe gone to prison. Maybe got some points. You would have done max a year, 2 or something. The friend really fucked him, bro. The friend really fucked him. I thought there was maybe a gun in there with some bodies on it. Maybe a brick of cocaine or something, but no. It's just no insurance, no license. Fucking wild. The original story, courtesy of the Standard. It says, teenager 19 jailed in Dubai over holiday romance with girl killed in a crash after the car fails to stop for police in North London. A British teenager who was jailed in Dubai after having sex with a UK tourist has died after a car he was in failed to stop for the police and crashed in North London. Markus Fakana, 19, died from significant injuries after the smash just before 1 a.m. in Friday. Officers on patrol attempted to stop a vehicle of interest in Pretoria Road in Edmonton. The Metropolitan Police after following the short pursuit of approximately 60 seconds, Jesus Christ, they temporarily lost sight of it. Shortly after, officers drove onto the roundaway in Tottenham to find a car had been involved in a road collision with another vehicle. The teenage passenger suffered serious wounds and was provided with immediate first aid prior to the arrival of London Ambulance and Air Ambulance. The 4 spokesman said he was taken to hospital where, despite the best efforts of emergency services and medical staff, he died of a short time later. His lesser kid had been informed. The male driver, 19, also survived but was arrested after the smash with suspicions of failure to stop, dangerous driving. He remains in police custody. Mr. Fakana was arrested and sentenced to 1 year in prison last year over a consensual holiday relationship in August of last year. The British tourist was just a few months younger than himself. The girl was 1 month away from turning 18, but sex with anyone under the age of 18 is an offence in the Gulf state, a fact that was not aware at the time. They met when both of their families were staying in a luxury hotel. He was released from prison July of this year after receiving a royal pardon from Dubai ruler Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum and had returned to the UK. Sly Sterling, a founder of Detainee in Dubai, who supported the teen's family and campaigned for the release, shared the news on his death on the social media. Writing on X, he says, "We are heartbroken and share that our client and friend Markus Fakana tragically lost his life. His loss is a painful reminder of how precious life is and how unnecessary imprisonment robs people of time they can never regain. Every day of freedom matters." Mr. Sterling told Daily Mail, I came to know Markus as he faced one of the most frightening experiences of his life, and I witnessed his strength and courage throughout. He was grateful for the compassion shown to him by the British public, and his experiences gave him a renewed focus on Christianity and prayer. Markus was thankful to be regained in his freedom, and was looking forward to building a positive future. Tribute flooded for the teenager on social media. Absolutely heartbreaking, man. Absolutely heartbreaking. Absolutely heartbreaking. R.I.P. Markus. Honestly, truly. R.I.P. Markus. But again, choices, isn't it? Choices. He was in a car with a kid who had no license, no insurance. Maybe that kid was involved in something nefarious. Who fucking knows? Probably the first mistake. But he was really set on a bad path the moment that lady fobbed him into the police over there in Dubai because of that consensual relationship with his daughter. Because you'd think that was something that I remember happening back in the day. I didn't know that's a thing now. I remember back in the day that being a big thing. I remember back in the day, there was this one girl that lived near our area who a lot of guys were into. But if I'm not mistaken, her mum purposely sent her to a school like outside of London. That was an all-girls school. There was this one girl. She was mad pretty. Everyone used to really be into her. But she was never allowed outside. Never allowed outside, wherever. And I remember one day in particular, right? We were by the park. And this lady drove by in her car with her daughter in her car too in the passenger seat. And obviously this girl's going to, like, we're all fucking, I don't know, 17, 18 at the time. And they drive by and we see her for the first time. And we're like, oh my God. Like, I think because we heard the rumors, right, of this girl lives in the area, but she's never allowed outside and shit. And we got to see her. We're like, shit, she's as pretty as everyone says she is. And I remember her also looking at us, right? And then the mum seeing her daughter looking at us and we looking at her with our mouths open. She got so pissed off. She literally stopped the car. I remember it was like a Volvo estate car. She stopped the car in the middle of the street, jumped out, and said, "Why the fuck are you looking at my daughter?" Like, started screaming at us. And obviously the girl was super embarrassed, like kind of hiding her head. I remember thinking at the time, I was thinking, this is weird. Like, why is Mumsy having such a visceral, angry reaction like that? Like, relax, like, chill. I mean, like, why are you so mad? But then the weird thing is that usually when parents do that to, especially girls anyway, I know some guys know this as the hood Tory, but when women do that, mums do that to their daughters, it usually has the opposite effect. If you start being super protective about girls like that, especially your daughter, there's more chance of them ending up like a fucking Bonnie Blue than you think. But mums, I guess, think in that particular moment they're being protective and they're trying to keep their child safe and out of harm's way. But it actually does the opposite, usually. Especially a girl like that. Like that, again, that girl back in the day, if I remember correctly, she was never outside. We were always outside every fucking day. And she went to a school, an all-girls school outside of our fucking borough, outside of fucking London, on purpose, so she could avoid anybody. I'm assuming maybe her mom took her on a bus or in a car. I don't know, it's weird. And I saw her that one time only. I saw that one time in all my life living in my area. I saw her that one time only. And at one time we saw her mom come out of the car and start shouting. So I can imagine that's the same type of mom. If she found out her daughter had sex, she'd for sure ring the police and say it was rape. She would for sure ring the police and say it was rape. Those type of mums are evil. Because I have a feeling, right, that mum, the mum that called in the police for this kid, I bet you now she doesn't care. I bet you now she has zero remorse. I bet you that mum of that girl, that 17-year-old girl, feels absolutely zero remorse about this. I bet she doesn't care the slightest that this young man, you know, is now dead because he was set on that kind of bad path because because I'd imagine so. And also, forget even the bad path. You know, his parents and his family were robbed of a year of him being around. Maybe in his destiny, it was always kind of ordained or something. And again, wait for me to say this, I know, but maybe his day that was meant to be his day regardless. I don't necessarily think so. I personally think sometimes you make choices. I don't think our life is predestined. I think it's predestined to in part. I think our life is predestined in part, but I think we've always got a choice. So there's there's always like a fork in the road at all times. So there's your predestined path and there's other choices. But those other choices can maybe lead you back to your predestined path or make another path for you. So I feel like in this type of situation, that lady definitely played a role in fucking up this guy's future. To a point now where he passes away before he fucking turns 21. You know, at 19 years of age. A fucking baby, man. Absolutely heartbreaking, man. So RIP to Markus Fakana. RIP to Markus Fakana. Thoughts and prayers go out to everybody, including his family and shit, who are going through this horrible, horrible loss. Talking about choices. Can we talk a little bit about this choice? About me watching this series called Tazs. Tazs, the series, is currently on Apple. No, is it on Now TV? I think it's HBO Max series, right? It's a really good story, really good series about choices. Pick up the back of what happened to that kid. Because it's really heartbreaking, because when you watch this series, right, you think to yourself, some of these characters mimic something in real life, because some of them have obvious examples. Like there's like a trailer trash family who, at the beginning of the story, you find out that the dad is dead. He got murdered by his biker gang. And then the other brother, who's not in the biker gang, is the only one alive. He's having to look after everybody. But he's also still involved in crime. And you get this kind of contrast, you get these different storylines happening at the same time, where the dead biker's daughter is trying to figure out her life and trying to get out from underneath her family and live her own life and be her own person. But she also lives in a household full of fucked up people, and she doesn't want to live her siblings. That's something you don't really see. You don't really talk about it too much, right? If you're a kid that's brought up in a fucked up family, but you want to live your own life and go to college, you really feel a bit guilty leaving, because your siblings are going to be left alone to fend for themselves in that house. So she's having to stay and figure out that shit. You've got the other kids trying to figure out their identity. You got the brother of the biker who died trying to seek revenge, which is not the best strategy because his family need him more now than ever. Then you've got the other stories happening at the same time as well. And it just goes to show, it's just a really, really good illustration of how different choices lead us to different outcomes, and how sometimes things not within our control can have a very instrumental part to play in our lives for the worst. This is what you're seeing in this story, for the worst. Especially the lead detective. The lead detective in this story suffers a loss in his family that kind of leads him on a path where he kind of leads he's kind of got a different job now going on as well, whatever. And it's really, really fucking fascinating. I really recommend you watch it. It's a really good show. It's called Tazs, T-A-S-K. It's an amazing, amazing series. It's a limited series, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's like 8 episodes long. I think it's 8 episodes. I think so. It's 8. I'm on episode, I think, 5 or something. I think the latest episode 6 should be out now. Yeah, no, episode 5 should be out no, is it 6 or 5? No, yeah, episode 5 should be out already. I haven't watched that yet. I watched up to episode 4, but there's 7 episodes together. 8 or 7, one of them two. Check it out. I really recommend you check it out. It's called Tazs. The blurb says an FBI agent heads a task force to put an end to a string of violent robberies led by an unsuspecting family man. It's a really good series. Really recommend you check it out. It's called Tazs. It's available now on Now TV. I think it's a HBO Max show, but it's definitely a good series. I really recommend you check it out. I really, really recommend you check it out. Talking about choices, let's talk about Ray J. Talking about choice, let's talk about Ray J. For some reason, I don't know why, maybe it's the ratings, maybe it's in terms of, getting himself back on the headlines and being viral again. Ray J decided to come out recently, out of nowhere, and just say some random shit about the Kardashians, which is a very, very bad move in his case. Kim Kardashian and Kris Jenner sued Ray J for defamation over blatantly false RICO claims. He came out randomly on his stream and said, there's a massive RICO on Diddy levels coming out about the Kardashians. Yeah, he said that. He said the Kardashians will have a massive RICO on their hands coming up soon. Obviously, no one believed it, but in his case, I think it was a very dumb move because they're obviously going to sue you. The family probably doesn't like him anyway for all the stuff he's been saying over the years about, his relationship with Kim Kardashian, that legendary sex tape and shit, how that got released, why it got released. You know, I don't think they've ever been fans of him anyway, but they're definitely going to go out their way, I think, to bleed him dry or to teach him a lesson financially, not to speak on their name again. Because you can't just be coming out saying this type of shit, you know? You got to back it with something, you'd imagine. But here's the article courtesy of the Los Angeles Times. It says, Kim Kardashian and Kris Jenner are taking legal action to snuff out accusations that they are subject of a federal criminal racketeering investigation, claims publicized by the former ex-boyfriend Ray J. Attorneys of the Kardashian, reality TV stars and businesswomen sued the One Wish singer Wednesday for defamation on the false light publicity. The 13-page complaint filed in Los Angeles Superior Court stems from numerous comments Ray J made this year about his old flame and her family in a TMZ documentary and on a Twitch live stream. Ray J's public statements are blatantly false as a lawsuit. No such federal investigation exists. No law enforcement agency has initiated any criminal proceedings or investigations related to the racketeering charges against Miss Kardashian and Miss Jenner. It's just funny, isn't it? To accuse Kim and Kris of racketeering. Imagine if it's true though. Imagine if a year later there is a RICO out against the Kardashians. The internet is going to have to eat some humble pie in it if someone does come out and say there is a federal charges out against the Kardashians. And no credible evidence whatsoever supports these inflammatory allegations. Neither representative for the Keeping Up with the Kardashians alumni nor Ray J, born Ray Norman Jr., immediately responded for a request of comment. To the complaint alleges that Ray J, younger brother of singer actor Brandy, first publicly. By the way, that's why you know Brandy. Now you know why Brandy has a love relationship with her brother, right? You see a lot whenever they're on the cameras together. She's always like looking at him like he's an idiot. Now you get it, innit? Because imagine being Brandy. You have nothing to do with this shit. Ray J just happens to be your brother, right? But every time Ray J gets mentioned, they mention your name because you're famous as well. Maybe more famous, whatever. But every time Ray J gets in trouble, they mention Brandy, and she has absolutely nothing to do with this. It must be so exhausting being Ray J's brother. I swear. Big up Brandy. It says first publicly suggested that the mother and daughter duo involvement in a RICO investigation in May 2025 when he appeared in a TMZ documentary United States v. Sean Combs inside the Diddy trial. The TMZ special chronicled the developments in the rap and alcohol brand mogul's high-profile federal sex case. The 44-year-old singer linked Combs' case to an ex-girlfriend and her famous family, stating in the special, "If you told me the Kardashians were being charged for racketeering, I might believe it." So he said it twice. So the Kardashians let him get him off for TMZ, yeah? The Kardashians let him get off that lie once on the TMZ documentary about Diddy. He said, "If you told me the Kardashians were being charged for racketeering, I'd believe it." So that's kind of like it's not really a statement, it's not really an accusation. He's just kind of saying something, you know, vague, something open-ended. They let him get it out once. But when he said it twice, they're like, no way. Attorneys for Jenner, 69. Oh, she's 69 years old. And Kardashian, 44. Alleged Ray J's comment was designed to plant the seed in the public mind, and that the reality star are comparable to Combs, who was accused of drugging women, violence against ex-girlfriend Cassandra Cassie Venture, and orchestrating orgies known as freakos. To date, Ray J has not retracted his knowingly false and disparaging comment. Months after appearing on TMZ special, Ray J doubled down on the claims on his Twitch stream live stream with rapper Christian Rock in September. The Sexy Can I star declared last week the federal RICO I'm about to drop. Honestly, Ray J is crazy. The federal RICO I'm about to drop on Kris and Kim is about to be crazy. That's when they have to step in. It's one thing saying, oh, if someone told me the Kardashians are like that, but you can't say I'm gonna drop something. If you're gonna drop something, we're taking you to fucking court. According to court documents, during the live stream, Ray J also alleged, said the feds are coming. There's nothing I could do about it, and claimed the star's supposed RICO case is worse than Diddy's. I'm talking about, I'm on the news every day. I'm gonna say a lot of shit, he said. Elsewhere in the live stream, he urged his followers, anybody that's cool with Kim, they need to tell her now. The rain is coming. The feds is coming. Ray J. Infamously, Ray J and Kim Kardashian were an item in the 2000s. Though they broke up in 2006, their sex tape was leaked in 2007, the same year Keeping Up with the Kardashians premiered on E! Attorneys for Jenner and Kardashians cast Ray J's accusations as last attempt to stay relevant. The lawsuit alleges that his history of making false and sensationalized claims about high-profile individuals to gain attention, citing an online incident with rapper Sexy Red. Oh yeah, true. He did randomly say something about Sexy Red, in it, about trying to fuck her or something, right? Yeah. Earlier this year, Ray J hinted that he got intimate with Sticky Rapper. He apologized for the claim and clarified that he was just sat near her at the same flight. Ray J is a fucking bozo, isn't it? Ray J hinted that getting intimate with the Sticky Rapper. He apologized for the claim and clarified that he had just sat near her on the same flight. He quote, "I went out of control. I said I slept with Sexy Red." That is some loser shit. The lawsuit says Jenner and Kardashians, who recently completed their legal training, suffered reputational harm that's taken and will continue a professional toll. They are seeking a jury trial and unspecified amount of damages exceeding $35,000. As news of the lawsuit spread, Ray J similarly stood firm his accusation. Yeah, in a video shared on Instagram on Wednesday, he asserted, "I'm not about to be silenced." He also said he spoke with Jenner Kardashian's attorney, Spiro, who allegedly asked him crazy questions, including whether he spoke to the feds. Honestly, like, y'all should be super scared because I'm not backing down. I'm tired of it. The rain is coming. There's nothing you could do about it. In another Instagram story shared on Wednesday, he announced to his followers that he would be going live on Twitch at 2 a.m. That's 5 o'clock New York time. Perfect time for the Breakfast Club and to be stalking my page and see what I'm gonna say. Fucking hell, Ray J, man. It's interesting, isn't it? He's really talented as a singer. R&B. He's got a really good voice on him. He's obviously, you know, R&B royalty, being associated and known with fucking Brandy. He's a decent enough actor. You'd think he'd have enough on his plate, enough tools, enough talent to not have to do this for attention, you know? Because even if it's true, let me tell us as a matter of fact, even if it is true that the Kardashians have got a RICO coming up about them or coming up involving them soon, don't think that he's doing this in order to like save women's lives. He's not doing this to save women's lives. He's not doing this because he's a good guy. He's doing it because it's bringing him attention. Simple as that. But you'd think with somebody with him, and I guess it's maybe the perfect juxtaposition, right? The Kardashians are known as a family who people refer to as having no talent. All these people have no talent, but they have all the money, all the fame, all the clout. And they've kind of, you know, changed people's perception of what talent is. They kind of ushered in this whole reality TV thing, But then Ray J has legit talent. But he can't make money from his talent, which is why he's getting involved or doing these crazy, nonsensical, bullshit tactics and whatever to get his name out there. It kind of goes to show you the game has changed. It's not just about talent. You have to have both. You have to be able to have talent. You also have to have the ability to kind of, you know, get the attention, get the eyeballs on you, influence culture, be able to go viral, whether it's for the good or for the bad reason. If you go viral, it's all fucking good. So I guess that's what he's trying to do now. But unfortunately for him, the problem that he has is that him and Kim didn't end on good terms. He's been speaking ill of Kim for a while. Every time I feel like he speaks about that Kardashian, especially Kim Kardashian, he speaks very ill of them. And now again, he has his right to, because of that sex tape and shit, but he doesn't really have any nice words to say about this family. So the problem that he's going to have now, I think going forward, is that this family is going to make it their mission to bleed him dry or to leave him with some sort of financial scarring, because he's been pissing them off for ages. So they're going to want to teach him a lesson. They're going to want to drag this out, because you can imagine the Kardashians probably have enough money to waste money to then damage his pockets. You get me? They'll be happy to pay their lawyers to string this case along, right? Because it's going to mean Ray J have to pay his lawyers. And they know their money's longer than his. So eventually it's going to get to a point where he's going to start really begging, you know? It's a really weird move from him. Really fucking weird move. But I guess when you're desperate, you have to do what you got to do. I guess when you're desperate, you got to do what you got to do. And there's always a possibility. Think about this. There's always a possibility that he could be telling the truth. There's always a possibility he could be telling the truth. And we have to eat humble pie. But I really do doubt it. I really fucking do doubt it. Talking about humble pie, let's talk about CoolKicks. CoolKicks LA issues a statement on the LAPD raid. Bitch, you heard it. CoolKicks, very influential, very well known reseller store that sells rare trainers and shit on clothes and whatever, was raided by the FBI for stolen goods. Now, some people are alleging it also could be due to fraudulent goods, like reps and shit. The founder has come out and said it's not true, but I have a feeling that it is including reps. It's including stolen gear, because I'm sure some of you knew. I think it was during COVID. Do you guys remember during COVID, there was that spout of robberies happening where people were going to Nike stores, running them up and jacking a bunch of stuff. There were robberies happening on trains. Remember that? In America, they got those transport trains that travel across the country. And on those trains, sometimes they stock like, you know, they'll have like Nike shoes. And those trains were being like ambushed. Like people would put shit on the rails, make the train stop. When the train stopped, kids would come out and start ransacking the fucking cargo containers and stealing a bunch of shoes. And there'd be that famous picture of this train on the tracks and all these orange boxes and shit all splaying on the floor. People like pulling shoes out of boxes and shit. So the LAPDs are suggesting or alleging that CoolKicks were knowingly sold or knowingly bought stolen shoes and were trying to sell them in their store. Because a lot of these stores, like you see a lot with these reseller sites, they'll have like these pictures they take on Instagram where they'll be like the founder or the owner of the store will be sitting there with like a whole size run of shoes. And if you know anything about sneaker stores, you know that backdooring does happen, right? Backdooring basically means where a store will sell a pair of limited edition shoes out of the back door to somebody in full. So if you're a reseller, you're a collector, if you know somebody, if you pay enough money, essentially, you can basically get a whole size run of like Tom Sachs Mars yards because you might pay like $1,000 each on top of them. And the person that owns the shop, be like, it doesn't matter to him because he's still going to put that money in the till, and whatever profit he gets, he puts it in his pocket, and no one's none the wiser. It's a stuff that's been going on in the secrecy for a while. It's absolutely killed limited edition shoes. It prevents people like you and I getting a pair of shoes. I've seen it happen myself in front of my eyes. When I used to work at 1948, people were backdooring shoes all the time. There'll be fucking scumbags coming and buying the shit. And you know what really broke my heart and what really made me angry? I was working in 1948. I went to the store in 1948 in Shoreditch, right? This really like cool limited edition shoe shop. That was where I was able to get the Yeezys there. I was able to get the first pair of fucking off-white Jordans from there too back in the day. But I didn't get them because I worked there. I got them because I wasn't working there and they sold them there. But anyway, long story short, I remember working there and and the manager of that store was backdooring the shoes to a few of his friends. And you know, it was really fucking hard pill to swallow and really got me pissed off. When we were coming up in a scene, we'd be queuing out outside of Busy Workshops, right? Which is the Bape store in London. We'd be queuing outside of Hideout, which is next door to Busy Workshop. We'd be queuing outside of Slam City Skates, Nike Town, Foot Patrol, Slamming Kick sometimes to buy limited edition shoes. And we'd never get them because there'd be an older generation of people who probably are in their 50s now, right? 50s, 60s and shit. There'll be these older generation of people, these guys, who would always get there who'd always get there after us, but they'd always get to the front and just buy the pair because they knew the manager. And we'd always be standing in the queue pissed. We'd be doing that 24-hour shift, 48-hour shift, standing in there in the rain, in our tents, waiting to buy shoes. We could never buy them because these older people knew the people or they were backdooring, putting money in you guys' pocket. Years later, when I work in this shoe store, the very same people who were backdooring us when we were younger were the same people now getting in front of us in the queue were now backdooring shoes. The cycle was continuing. And it was funny as well, seeing these guys in that scenario, in that environment. Because I was so used to seeing these guys come up to the store acting like their dogs. Imagine back in the day, like, honestly, some of these guys are bozos. If you're listening to this now and you remember who I was back then, like, fuck you. You're a fucking loser. Most of those guys were fucking losers because they were flexing on us. We were like 19, 18. And these guys were like 40. They had like full-time jobs. And they were like, they had families and shit, like fucking, you know what I mean, pensions coming up. And they were out here flexing on us, kids at that time, kids. Oh, we got in the queue in front of you. Like, you shouldn't even be worried about trainers. You should look after your kids, brother. Right? And those same people, years later when I'm working in the sneaker store, they're coming backdooring shoes to get them. And the cycle just continues. And it's really annoying because Nike don't stop it. They don't give a fuck. The stores don't stop it because they make some money. And the people that suffer the most are the customers. Because then when the shoes become available to buy, there's less of them now. Whatever quantity stores get, they always backdoor shoes. Because first you have to imagine when the limited edition shoes land in the store, the staff get first dibs. Right? Usually if you've got a good manager, they'll tell you one pair only if you limited edition shoes. But if you work there, you can probably finagle another pair. You can get another pair for your sister, for your brother, for your friend, right? So already by that time, most sneaker stores, you'd say off rip, off top, 20 pairs gone. Maybe minimum 20 pairs gone. Not including the backdooring with some fucking rich Chinese kid that comes through, with some rich Arab kid that comes through, with some rich wherever kid that comes through and just buys 7 pairs and gives the manager, you know, fucking $1,000 on top. Then a reseller comes through, gives the manager $5,000 on top each pair, you know? So then by the time the shoes become available to buy on the day, there's like 10 pairs available, 10, 20 or something. Fair enough, they don't make the numbers known to the public, but if you know the right people, they'll tell you. The quantities are super low, bro. So it's a scumbag's game. That's why I'm all for reps. That's why I'm always gonna advocate for reps. I'm always gonna advocate for reps. Like, try and buy your shoes legit. Try and buy your shoes legit. Enter the raffles, retweet, do all that shit that they want you to do. Jump over the hoops. If you can't buy your shoe legit, buy the rep. Buy it instantly. Fuck these companies. Fuck these brands. Because niggas are out here stealing shoes, selling them to stores. They're buying these stolen shoes, willingly, you know, marking them up to sell them to you. Or they're going to buy reps from China and then try to sell them as the authentic thing for the resale price. Scumbags across the board. Nike are scumbags. They don't make enough shoes to supply demand. There's no reason why there shouldn't be enough shoes to supply demand. Sneaker business is $1 billion industry now. Everybody knows what a limited edition sneaker is. Your mum, your dad knows what a fucking Yeezy is. There's no more secrets. There's no more this. It's stupid. This fucking manufacturer scarcity is dumb. Just make enough shoes for everyone to buy. In my personal opinion, I think the scarcity thing is stupid. From time, they don't even put numbers. Nowadays, if there's like a limited edition shoe, they'll have like oh, this is 5,000 pairs, but they won't tell you what number your pair is. The Awake Jordan 5s. The Awake Jordan 5s have a quantity number. There's a label on the inside of the tongue. But they all say 1. Every pair says 1. They don't tell you what pair you got. Why? Because they don't want you to know how many pairs were actually made. Because if they have to number them, they're gonna have to tell you that in reality it was much more than they said there was, not enough to supply demand. But if they let you know what numbers, then it kind of eradicates the rep sort of industry and what they're doing. Because there can't be like 1744s out there. Do you know what I mean? There has to be there can be loads of infinite number of ones. So the whole game is fucking rigged. If you can get reps, get them. If you can't buy if you could try to buy the authentic thing first. If you can't buy it, buy the reps, because you're gonna be sold stolen shit for resale. Because one thing buying stolen shit for half price. If some crackhead comes to your barbershop, if some crackhead comes to your hair salon, if some crackhead pops into you or bumps into you at the Sainsbury's and tries to sell you an authentic pair of Air Force Ones for £50, buy them, of course. But no one should be trying to sell you Air Force Ones for £200 that are stolen. Like, what? Are you giving stolen property for more money? Stolen property should be less. You get me? So fuck these stores. It says CoolKicks in LA raided by the LAPD. Courtesy of Complex. What began as another online auction stream ended on Whatnot yesterday for CoolKicks when the LA got turned upside down when a shop owner, Adele Shams, by the way, Shams, right? Shambolic scammer, get that, was arrested by the LAPD on live stream. And there's actually a video of it. There's actually a video of him getting raided as he's streaming on his website, which I only found out about recently. There's a website called there's an app called Whatnot. It's like a selling website sort of thing. It's all like a tele-sales QVC type of thing where you can sell stuff on there. And he was, you know, you can do promos and whatnot. I guess stores use it to kind of, you know, gain some traction for their store. So there's kids on this app called Whatnot, you know, doing his thing, selling the boo-boos, whatever he's fucking doing. And then in the background, you can hear he's getting raided. And he's like in shock at first. So he doesn't actually believe what's going on. At first, he thought he got swatted. What happens a lot when you live stream, people call, if they find your address, they'll say this, they'll call a SWAT, they'll say it'll be a prank, right? They'll call a SWAT team in and you get pranked on air, but it wasn't. It was actually getting raided by the feds.
Chat, what the fuck was that?
Oh, wait. Jerm said don't do that.
What is that? Here? Chat, I don't know what the fuck just happened. Did somebody swat us? I'll be back, chat.
Chat.
Was it really? It was a prank.
No.
Look at his face. Look at his face. Are you dead ass? Obviously you got swatted, brother. Obviously you got fucking swatted. And as you can see, those are all the boxes outside the store that got possessed by the cops and shit, right? Absolutely fucking crazy. There's actually more pictures as well. You see another picture too of more boxes there. There's actually another one too that I want to show you. where it shows you all of the guys outside in the parking lot as they're getting arrested by the cops and shit with their handcuffs on. It's fucking crazy. But there's a bunch of people. Where is it? Where is it? There you go. Yeah, you see it right there. There it is, right there. There's all the people in the store, as you see there, all of them outside. It there, and then you've got some other pictures too of all the other stuff getting stolen, and that's the founder there. You can see him with the same shirt on getting arrested by the people as well. So crazy situation all around. It says, while there's no official statement provided by the department relating to the rest of the time of writing, it's currently being alleged that Adele's arrest was linked to the possibility of the store selling counterfeit products. Images also began circulating online of law enforcement impounding dozens of the Nike sneakers. The first CoolKicks store opened in 2014 in Virginia before Adele opened his now popular location in Melrose in LA in 2016. The store has amassed a huge following on social media where they frequently post videos of celebrities making huge purchases at the store. According to the booking record, a deal was released on midnight earlier today. A court date has been set for October 23rd. Update: CoolKicks has shared an official statement regarding the raid on the LAPD. CoolKicks statement: yesterday, the LAPD impounded a small allotment of Nike sneakers that CoolKicks purchased and received within the last 48 hours. Bro, you don't get raided by the feds for something you bought in 48 hours, man. That's a lie. Alleging that the merchandise was stolen. The news came as a complete shock to our entire team. Neither CoolKicks leadership nor our staff had any knowledge or reason to believe that these products were stolen. We entered into the purchase in good faith, as we've always have, and committed to running an honest business. It is important to clarify, there's been no allegation whatsoever from law enforcement that any of our products were counterfeit. You're not saying there aren't, though. CoolKicks takes pride in serving a loyal community of authentic, high-quality products and services. It is at the heart of our culture. We want to reassure our community that the integrity of our products remains the highest priority. We are confident the truth will come out and trust will have been worked so hard to earn will remain strong. We deeply regret the concern and inconvenience the situation has caused. CoolKicks has stood on for honest business, and that commitment will never change. The CoolKicks team. Bunch of bullshit. A bunch of bullshit. If you're somebody that's new in the industry, new in the scene, I will tell you flat out, don't buy shoes. If you miss out on shoes, either buy reps or buy something else. Unless you can buy the shoes directly from somebody that queued up in the store and they have a receipt for the shoes they bought, don't buy them anywhere. No, I wouldn't even trust StockX at this point. I wouldn't even trust StockX. I'm not trusting any app, Go, StockX, nothing. If you can't buy your shoes on a raffle day, if you don't get successful with the raffle, if you don't buy them with somebody that actually bought them from the raffle and they have an invoice and a receipt to show you, just buy something else or buy a rep. But don't try and buy them for the resale store, because 9 times out of 10, in my personal opinion, I think most are reps. Reps now are so good in terms of quality, in terms of standard. Unless you're a proper sneakerhead who's been in the game for a long time, you won't be able to spot them. Most people won't be able to spot what reps look like with a naked eye. Reps now, most reps don't have that funky smell. Most reps now, some reps are actually higher quality than the fucking retail pairs. Like all the dead giveaways happened back in the day aren't there anymore. The boxes are the same. They use the same paper, the same tissue, the same replacement additional laces. The sizing is brilliant. The shape is great. So it's really hard to discern what is real and what isn't. And if you care about that sort of shit, I really highly recommend that if you don't get successful, if you are unsuccessful, in purchasing limited edition shoes via the raffle, buy something else or buy the rep. Don't waste your money on fucking resale market. It's full of fakes. It's full of people selling fake shoes, trying to sell it for you in authentic prices or resale prices, which I think is a scammy game. I heard it happen a lot during COVID. Heard a bunch of people made big money during COVID. They were buying reps and then selling them as a legit thing. Don't do it. Don't do it. I think that's a scammy game. If you're going to sell reps, sell them as reps. Don't sell reps as authentic things, because that's not fair. But there's a bunch of these stores out there who, because they're a store and you have to bring the shoe in and people have to check it over. People normally think because it's a store selling resale shoes that they're more trustworthy because there's way more authentication steps done on there. You'd think so. And they usually employ a lot of sneakerheads, so you know, whatever. But it's a bullshit. Most people couldn't tell the difference between a fake Air Force One and a real Air Force One. I think that's the easiest one. I think being able to tell between a legit Air Force One and a fake one is really easy. But most people can't even tell that. So if I was you, I would just avoid all of it across the board. Avoid all of it across the board. Avoid all of it across the board. That would be my suggestion. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that has been the Jackson and Zinger Show, episode number 955. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been a pleasure to have your company, as per usual. If it's your first time tuning to the show, you know what to do. Smash like, hit subscribe, all that good shit. For those of you listening to the audio podcast, you hear my tune of the day. My tune of the day is by the legendary band Foxing, and it's called Night Channel. Foxing Night Channel's playing underneath my voice. Listen to the audio side of the podcast. For those of you watching via the video part, you won't hear anything, you won't see anything, it'll just fade to black. And I'll see you guys on the other side. Random show coming up later on. All that things in between. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. See you soon. Peace.